I know. It's just because of the connection of something Foxtrot. It's true. But I do want to say one thing about the way, we appreciate your input here. One of the founding philosophies why am I shouting? How am I going to find my shouting? I'm like, shouting! If you give a writer a mic, it's so dangerous. One of the founding philosophies at Off Center is about legacy, and I'm really interested in artists who have a real reason, a real need to do a piece. And the story of the way this came about, when New Brain was first done in 1998, I was writing the music for 12th Night upstairs. And downstairs, there was this amazing cast, including Kristen Chenoweth, who was Christy Chenoweth then, with an I and a heart. Jason Robert pounding away at that thing, we're upstairs, I have a 10-month-old, I'm weeping, they're pounding, she's like singing! It's crazy! Wow! I know! So I just have such a soft spot for this piece, and after last season, the first thing I thought, I have to do New Brain. I want to do it with Jonathan Groff. I wonder if you would be interested, and I was really shy about emailing you. And I was on a train, and I emailed you, and at the same time, this is true, right? At the same time, Jonathan emailed me and said, I saw Tick Tick Boom, I'm wondering if you're interested in New Brain, I would love to do it. Right?
It's so crazy.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. It sounds untrue, but it's true.
No, so one of the things I would love to talk to you about is why the piece, you can tell when you're performing it, and the thing that never happens with artists is you never get to talk to them before they perform, before people throw Skittles at you. What drove you to this piece, and why is it? I think it's a dream fulfilled, which is how you perform it.
Completely. Well, my parents are here, first of all. We're my parents. And I found out about this show. A friend in high school made a musical theater mixtape for me. And the first song on the mixtape was...
You were straight then.
I was straight then. I was neutral then. I was just sort of like...
Oh, okay.
I just really love musical theater.
My fiance here, Matt, are you here?
Where is he?
I don't know if he's here. But where are you? Oh my God, the first time hi Matthew, hi Chris. When I said to Matthew, who is super straight, and I said, I have a run through today, and he said, what's that? I thought, that's just me.
I was 14, and the song "They're Off" was on the mixtape. I bought the CD off of Amazon, and I remember like going to my room, taking out the liner notes. I remember putting the CD into like the boombox that I got for Christmas, and sitting on the edge of my bed and reading along with the show because it's mostly sung through, and being like, whoa. And I remember my mom calling me down for dinner, like, it's time to have dinner. There was like 3 songs left. I was like, I'll be down in 10 minutes just to finish. I remember so vividly falling in love with the show. I got into a car accident while I was listening to Here I'd Sit in the Middle of the Road and I'm waiting for a car to come on and kill me. Bam! A policewoman ran into the side of the family van and totaled our car. I sang I'd Rather Be Sailing for every audition. I just have loved this show so much. And I feel like, and I said this on our opening night, I feel like this off-center program that you have started is so special in so many ways. And one of the most meaningful ways is for me personally, it's like a childhood dream come true to be able to do this. But also, Bill Finn, who spoke so eloquently on our opening night, was talking about how amazing it is for him to sort of revisit the show. And when I asked you, and you sort of asked me simultaneously about doing it this year, I had no idea that we were going to be able to try and make it better. I didn't know that was part of this process, which is...
It wasn't.
That wasn't part of the plan?
Well, I mean, we did it with Violet. One of the things that's really tricky about, it's really tricky when the authors are alive. That's what I found. Much easier when William Shakespeare's lyricist is like, I don't give a fuck, you're dead. However, I think, like Langston Hughes said, it's a dream deferred. And I think A New Brain was way before that. There is a big movement, I'm sure you're all aware of it, not only with healthcare, but the way that we look at mortality, the way that we think about hospital care, the inhumanity. I mean, the fact that what has happened with the Confederate flag in the Supreme Court, I feel like there's a turn towards humanity this week, and hopefully... I wonder what it feels like. I know that in our hospital, that in our history, in our family history, in our family there was a deep and very, very debilitating brain injury. My dad was a doctor, and I remember him saying to me, "If you really want to get well, don't go to the hospital." Yeah. And he used to keep patients. We would come home from school, and there'd be a patient in our room. We'd be like, "What the hell?" He's like, "He's too sick to go to the hospital.
Wow. He
needs care, and this kid, there has to be a human touch, or he won't get well."
Wow.
And I've always thought about that. And one of the things when you watch this piece tonight, and I'm wondering what it's like for you, is especially with the nurses, it's so true.
Yeah.
There's something about the robotic quality of it, and the fact that so much of it is robotic. What is it like to be on the receiving end of that? Because it's so beautifully captured, because it's autobiographical.
Yeah.
Does it feel that way?
It does, it really does. And my dad, sorry, I'm holding my dad right now, just had open heart surgery a couple months ago. And we were talking on the phone, like maybe 3 weeks ago, about that feeling of being in the hospital and the feeling of going under and knowing that there's a possibility of not coming out of that and the intensity of that. And also how, we talked about this in rehearsal too, and it's sort of expressed through all the different characters, where Gordon is the one having the brain problem, but it's at the same time the mother is going through a crisis and the boyfriend is going through a crisis, and when something like that happens, everybody is affected. And it's amazing how we handle ourselves and how we express ourselves as the sort of patient and as the people who love the patient. And James said something really interesting in rehearsal too, which was that he said, which I'd never thought about. He was like, it's so interesting to me how everybody expresses their feelings when they're not with each other in this show, and how the mother and Roger, his boyfriend, really emote and express themselves without being in front of Gordon, because they're trying to be strong for Gordon, and how true to life that is when you're dealing with someone that's going through that sort of hospital experience. And then also the hilarity of it, and this sort of very matter-of-fact way, or we talk too about, there's a scene when I'm in the wheelchair and the minister comes over and the doctor comes over and everyone just kind of puts their hands on you and they're sort of running through their list of compassionate things to do with a patient, and then they're like, okay, anyway, and they go to the next person and do all the compassionate things that they're supposed to do. It's such a weird world that I feel is just so beautifully captured in the show.
It's one of the hilarity that I think you're talking about, which is really true. When my then husband had a stroke, it was 7 years ago now, up all night, brain injury, and it's no joke. And then I came home after all of that and got the mail, and there was a jury duty notice, and I'm like, really? Really, God? And I think it's one of those things that, in the design of the universe, if that happens, what is it that it's so rare that we get to talk to you? First of all, you are such a nice human, and you know it, and I know it, right? Yeah. No, because there are a lot of assholes in this business, and you're just not one of them. Right? You're not. You're fearless and kind. You do your work, and I can't wait to work with you again. And that doesn't always come, and kindness is not weakness. There's a real distinction between that. And I admire you, and I think that's why you're the only person that Leah Michelle gets along with. She's very, very committed to you, very loyal to you. She loves you.
I'd love to see a Leah Michelle, Jeanine Tesori cage match.
I will take that bitch down.
Yeah.
It could be Greco-Roman wrestling. We'll like oil up. Actually, I'd love to do a musical with the two of you. That is what I would love to do. Spring Awakening Part 2. This time it's serious. What is it that you know, again, it's really rare that we get to spend time with you before your half hour. What is it that, something that you would want us to think about as you watch it, or do you want to just go in cold? Is there a moment where, you know, all of us can come together and think of something that you've said?
Good question. I guess.
Thank you, Jonathan.
I feel like the great thing about theater is every performance is its own. Like opening night is opening night, and so everything about opening night affects that performance. Today was our first and only matinee, and it was daytime, and we're people that we knew in the audience for that. And so tonight, I guess just go in tonight knowing that it's our final show. And we're all sort of infused with that. The actors, we're like, particularly the actors in this production who are all extraordinary and are all so connected to one another. It's amazing how in this rehearsal process, it's been so short, how quickly everyone is bonded in this company. And so we together are knowing that this is our like final show. And so I guess we're just excited to kind of celebrate that and experience that with you guys.
That's great. When did you start rehearsals for this? Not me, but...
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about piano lessons.
I know. Jonathan took piano lessons.
Wait, yes, because I have to say, in addition to Jeanine running this entire program, winning a Tony Award for Fun Home,
Writing.
they were like, all right.
I know, she's 88, fucking give it to her.
I love that you and Kelly O'Hara won in the same year, too.
Oh,
it's like
I
that
know, I saw her on the press night and I was like, yes. And she said, well, we'll see. And I know, right?
But Jeanine, I said to her, I was like, I'd really love to learn that, like, the piano in the beginning for the timing, whatever. I've never played the piano in my life. And I was like, is there anyone that I could go to? This was like 6 months ago or something, to take lessons. And Jeanine was like, don't be stupid, you're taking lessons from me, I'm gonna teach you how to play the piano. And I was like, what? And so then I thought, okay, that's one of those things that people say that like, and then she's like, and here's the name and number of my assistant and he'll be teaching you piano lessons. But then I show up and Jeanine taught me piano lessons. We sat in your studio with Ben, her assistant, and we
This is probably the time where Jonathan will be doing the complete works of Rachmaninoff.
Yes. Let's bring out the piano. Are you ready? And I just couldn't. I saw Thoroughly Modern Millie 6 times. That was my introduction to Jeanine Tesori. I'm obsessed with this woman, Caroline or Jane. I mean everything. And so to be in a room with you playing piano was completely surreal for me as a fan of you. But then as someone that's running an organization and running a thing, to have that person teaching the actor piano, I feel like just shows, now I'm doing a commercial for you, but I feel like it shows your like true like interest and passion, and you're so invested in every single possible way, which is so rare for someone that runs an organization like you do.
Yes. It's because I have no life and no self-esteem.
And I benefit from that. So.
Yes, I want to do a couple of Q&As before Jonathan has to get into character, which takes exactly 23 minutes. And there's the warm-up. The warm-up is done. Questions? Yeah.
So, anybody looking at it to possibly do it again somewhere else?
I think we're going to do it on ice.
Can you teach me my triple axel?
You know what? I can really ice skate. That's a lie. I can't ice skate. I could. I always think I can, and then I get on the ice. But I can do it sort of like a lesbian skate.